Hi, welcome to Have You Know Game. I'm John Hunter. I wanted to get this video out today in a quick fashion because I've discovered that there's several pretty decent board games on sale at Amazon right now for pretty good discounts. So I will say that this is not going to be a board game review. Some of these games I haven't played, others I have. So I'll just try and give you a brief summary to the best of my ability from having not played it. But if you want more information, I'd say go to the Amazon page for the game. I will provide the link for it in the description below. And if you want even further information, you can always head over to boardgamegeek.com and get lots of information, ratings, forum comments, lots of pictures, etc., and get all the information you need to determine if this is a game that you want to get. So the other thing is, I recommend that you stick around through the whole video because I've ordered the games so that the game with the least amount of discount is first, and then it'll progress until the last game, which has the highest discount. So that's not indicative of the actual prices, but of the amount of discount you're going to get for the game. So with that, let me go ahead and resize, and I'll pull up the first game. So the first game that we have is Lords of Waterdeep. It originally typically sells for $35. It's on sale for $31. Not a huge discount, but honestly at $31, I think that's a steal of a price for this game. It's one of my favorite games. I do play this regularly. My gaming group, they all enjoy it. We have a fun time playing this. So the basic gist of this game is you're a lord within the town of Waterdeep, and you have the ability to place agents on the board, which allows you to recruit one of 4 player character types, and that's going to be a warrior, a priest, a rogue, or a mage. And then you can, once you accumulate those characters, you can spend them by sending them on quests that are available on the board game. And those quests, when you complete them, the main thing you'll get are victory points, but you may get some other bonuses that help you throughout the game. Another mechanic in this game that's pretty decent is you can build more buildings, which are locations that your agents to go to, which can help you more efficiently recruit the agents that you need. Some of the locations allow you to get gold or some other benefits. So it's a worker placement game with a lot of variety in terms of what you can accomplish with your quests. So it's a lot of fun. I'm going to switch to the Board Game Geek. Let me blow this up a little bit. So over on Board Game Geek, it's listed at a 7.7 rated game. I will tell you, when I see games, if they're in the 7s, that's perfectly fine with me. I think a lot of times we see 7s and think that means it's not that great of a game. On this website, if they're in the 7s, that's a game that you'll probably enjoy if it's your type of game. So you can see this is a game that's made for 2 to 5 players. It takes about 1 to 2 hours. It's recommended for ages 12 and above. And it's this weight here, that's the complexity rating. So it's about a medium complexity game, but honestly, I don't think it's that complex other than maybe when you're first learning it, but after you've played it a couple of times, it's very easy to play through. All right, so let's move on to the next game. The next game is JAIPUR, another popular game. It's a card game that involves trading and mercantilism. So this one is on sale for just under $20. So some of these games, I'm just going to kind of read a little bit of a summary. So bear with me on that. I want to try and be as accurate as possible. According to Amazon and JAIPUR, players are going to take on the role of 2 of the city's most powerful traders, seeking to become the Maharaja's personal trader by amassing more riches than their opponent. You want to outtrade your opponent to obtain the Maharaja's favor At the end of each round, the richest trader receives a seal of excellence, and the first player to collect 2 seals of excellence wins the game. So let's head over to its display on Board Game Geek. This has a 7.5 rating. Again, that's a good rating. The game is only for 2 players. It's 30 minutes, so if you're looking for a short game, this is great. It's recommended for ages 12 and above, and its complexity rating is 1.47, which means it's a pretty easy game to learn and to play. So this one's very popular. Most people with a big game collection, they probably have this sitting on their shelves. So if you haven't heard of it, it's definitely one to check out. All right, next game. Cascadia. Cascadia is another popular game. Amazon has it for 20% off right now, just under $32. So in Cascadia, it's a game where you're going to take a journey to the Pacific Northwest, and you're going to compete to make the most harmonious ecosystem. According to Amazon, turns are simple. You select a tile, a token set, and place each of them into your expanding ecosystem. You earn points by fulfilling wildlife goals and creating the largest habitat corridors. With variable scoring goals, each game of Cascadia brings a new spatial puzzle to your table. So let's head on over to the Board Game Geek rating. This one is rated an 8.0, so very high rating. This game, if you'll notice, 1 to 4 players. So if you're someone who has trouble getting gaming groups together, this could be a good option because you can play it solo. The play time is 30 to 45 minutes, so a relatively quick game. It's for ages 10 and up, so you can get your younger family members involved in this one. And its complexity rating at a 1.84 is also pretty low. Okay, next up, we have Mysterium. This is a murder mystery game. According to Amazon's description, one player will take on the role of the victim, who is now a ghost, and the rest is physics. Over the course of the game, players will work together to solve a mystery by psychically communicating with the victim. The ghost tries to lead the psychics to the correct culprit of their murder. And some information from Board Game Geek says if the majority of the mediums have identified the proper suspect, with ties being broken by the vote of the most clairvoyant medium, then the killer has been identified and the ghost can now rest peacefully. If not, well, you lose and then you can try again. So this game, pretty decent discount, another 20% off. So you'll get this for under $35. Let's check the Board Game Geek information. It's a 7.2, another good solid game. This game is good for up to 2 to 7 players. So if you're looking for a game you can play almost like a party game with 7 people, this is good. Interesting play time, 42 minutes. That's pretty specific. But if I recall correctly, I actually played this once at Gen Con a few years back. I think there's an actual time mechanic to this game. So I think that's why that's specific. So if you're listening and you can clarify that, go ahead, leave a comment to confirm that one way or the other, and I appreciate it. Ages for 10 and up. So another one you can get more family members involved in if you like. And the complexity rating's just under 2, so a little bit more complex than the first games that I've shown, but still relatively easy game to play. Okay, the next game is Risk Legacy. Right now, it's 22% off for $42. So I'm sure a lot of you have played the game of Risk. Risk has been around for a very long time. It's a strategy game where you have 3 different types of units of varying power. And basically, all the players that are involved in the game are basically trying to conquer all the territory in the world. Now, Risk Legacy is different from the traditional Risk game, if you've ever played that, in that, first of all, it's got a more modern theme. As you can see in the picture here, you've got some robot-type mech units and some more modern weaponry. But the other thing that's a little bit different is this is designed to be sort of a campaign game style, which means each time you play the game builds on the previous time you played that. So according to Board Game Geek's description, what's different is that Risk Legacy changes over time based on the outcome of each game and various choices made by players. In each game, players choose one of 5 factions, and each faction has uniquely shaped pieces. And more importantly, different rules. At the start of the first game, each of these factions gain the ability to break one minor rule, such as the ability to move troops at any time during your turn, as opposed to only at the end. So if you are someone who played Risk back in the day and enjoyed it, this might be a good opportunity to pick up a new version with a little bit different mechanic, and you may enjoy that. Let's see what the Board Game Geek rating is. It's a 7.4, so another good rating on that. It's good for 3 to 5 players. Takes about an hour to play. Age recommendation is 13 and up, and the complexity is back up in the medium range at a 2.59. So if you've played Risk before, you know that it's not that complicated of a game. Even with some additional mechanics in this version, it's probably not that much harder. Okay. Next up, Seven Wonders Duel. So Seven Wonders Duel, as you can see here, is 27% off right now for just under $22. Now, this game is an offshoot from the original game Seven Wonders, which, spoiler alert, that's coming up next. But in Seven Wonders Duel, you're going to, this is according to Amazon's write-up, you're going to challenge your opponent and bring your civilization to victory with prestigious buildings, military supremacy, or scientific supremacy. You decide to invest in science, military, or prestige. You invade there's different things you can do. You can invade your opponent's capital, achieve a monopoly on scientific achievement, or craft a city that will earn the most victory points at the end. And so your ways to win this game are the military victory by capturing your opponent's capital, a scientific victory by acquiring any 6 of the 7 scientific symbols, or if neither of those 2 conditions are met at the end of the game, the player with the most points wins. So over on Board Game Geek, this has a rating of 8.1, so it's really gets a high approval rating. Keep in mind, with all of these ratings, a lot of them kind of get probably a little bit lower rating than they should, because you always have some people that will just give a ridiculously low rating because for whatever reason they didn't like the game. So, but this game is strictly for 2 players. It takes about 30 minutes, so it's a super quick game. If you don't have a lot of time, you can easily get that in. It's recommended for ages 10 and up, and the complexity is medium. I would agree with that, at least when you're first starting to play the game. So it'll take you a little bit to figure out, but definitely nothing overwhelming and nothing that should push you away from trying out this game, particularly given its rating of 8.1. So the next we have, as I said before, Seven Wonders, the actual board game. So this came out before Seven Wonders Duel. It's normally priced at $60. You can get it for 33% off right now at $40. So that's an incredible deal. So it's going to play at least thematically, a lot like Seven Wonders Duel. The idea is that you're building up your civilization. You have a couple different paths, whether you're going to go with a military or a scientific victory. Now, this game says that it's listed for 3 to 7 players, but I will say that there's actually rules included, so you can have a 2-player game. So I don't know if that's something that they added after Seven Wonders Duel came out to make this product a little more versatile, but just keep in mind that's now an option in this game. All right, so let's check out what it looks like on Board Game Geek. It got a 7.7, so another good solid rating. We've talked about the player count. This also, very quick game, takes 30 minutes to play. It's for ages 10 and up and has a middleweight complexity. So very similar to Seven Wonders Duel. So I won't dwell too much on that. But with the price that this is being offered at 33% off, if you don't have this in your collection, probably want to pick this one up. All right. The next game is Res Arcana. Honestly, I haven't heard of this game. Maybe I've been under a rock. Maybe some of you have and have had a chance to play. I'd really love to hear from you if you have played this and what your thoughts are on it, because at this price, it's normally $40. It's 33% off, so it's just under $27. Of all the games on this list, this might be one I pick up because it's got such a good price. It's got 5 stars on Amazon, and if we head on over to Board Game Geek for it, it's got a 7.7 rating, so another good solid rating. It's good for 2 to 4 players. Takes about 30 to 60 minutes. It's recommended for ages 12 and up, and it's got a weight of 2.64 complexity rating. So obviously it's going to be more complex than some of the last few games that I've shown. So reading some of the description, what I kind of picked up on is that Res Arcana is a game using basically a lot of cards, where each player is a mage using various arcane arts to develop attacks within the game. Each player is going to gather essences and then use artifacts to claim monuments and places of power. The gameplay involves gaining victory points from getting those places of power and monuments. And then at the end of the game, the player with the most points wins the game. Okay, the next game is Clue. I know what you're thinking. This is a really old game. Clue's been around for a long time. It's like Risk. But I think a lot of you that do board gaming will probably agree that it's kind of a classic. Are there better murder mystery games out nowadays? Yes, but sometimes it's great for the nostalgia. And then also, it's still a good intro to board gaming for some people that maybe aren't doing it before they get into the more complex murder mystery games that you may have in mind. But this game, it's $8. So, why not pick it up and add it to your collection? Now, maybe you're saying, well, I've already played Clue, or you have the original Clue. The one thing I'll point out is this is actually a different version of Clue. This one, you actually get to use Amazon Alexa if you have it. That's an option. It doesn't seem to be mandatory with this game, but Alexa will play the part of Mrs. White's ghost, and Mrs. White's ghost can be summoned by the players in the game to help them solve the mystery. So if you liked Clue before, you may want to check this one out because it does seem to have some new twist to it. So it will feel like a new game on some levels. And at $8, why not? It's worth it, especially if you have Amazon Alexa. Now, over at Board Game Geek, doesn't seem to have that great of a rating, but I take that with a grain of salt. Remember, most a lot of the people giving ratings on this website are like hardcore gamers. They're again, they've probably played a lot of other murder mystery games, and in their mind can think of better games. But I haven't read any of the reviews and comments, so I mean, unless somebody's commenting that the game is like broken mechanically, it's probably just fine. But again, I'll have the links to Board Game Geek. You can go in there, you can check out the reviews and see what people say if you think this is something that's going to be worth it. But again, at $8, like, it would have to really suck for it to not be worth $8, right? So again, it's 2 to 6 players. Takes about 40 minutes of playing time, so another quick game. It's for ages 8 and up. That's great. This is so far this is the lowest age rating. So if you're trying to get your family together and play some games, this is a great option. And again, like I said, could be a great introductory game. The complexity rating is a 1. That means it's very easy to play. So, not the world's greatest game compared to what's out there, but definitely has its purpose in your gaming collection. Okay, the next game is Axis and Allies. This is the Pacific 1940 version. So if you like me, when I was in high school, my buddies I grew up with, we played Axis and Allies like every week. We played that game so much that we pretty much had figured out every single possible strategy for each of the countries. But if you're not familiar with this game in particular is only the Pacific theater. So the board is not going to show Europe and that side of the map that you're used to with the standard Axis and Allies game. But if you're not familiar with it, you haven't played this before, it is a great game if you're into wartime strategy. It involves using units of land, air, and sea. So you're going to have infantry, tanks, artillery, jets, bombers, submarines, battleships, aircraft carriers. And basically, the way the game works is you're trying to capture the Axis are trying to capture the Allies' capital, and the Allies are trying to capture the Axis capital. Honestly, I haven't played this version of it, so I don't know if that mechanic's a little bit different as far as with the victory. But you're going to be using all those military units that I've mentioned, and you're going to be engaging in all sorts of battles in an attempt to take control of various territory zones on the map, and those zones have value that allows you to buy more of your units. So it's a really addicting game system. Axis and Allies and all its iterations have been around a while. Now, the cool thing about this is you can pick this up. There's a companion game. So they do have Axis and Allies Europe 1940, which is another separate game, but you can combine this and the Europe game to make one big board with all the pieces. So that's another angle for why this might be a great game for you. So, but it's a deal at 38% off. It only costs $29.99. So under $30, you can pick up a full game that will keep you very much entertained. Let's take a look at its Board Game Geek information. It gets a 7.5 on here, which I think is a good solid rating, particularly for a game that has been around for a long time. It just shows you the quality of the game, that it's still viable in today's gaming market. Now, this game is good for 2 to 4 players. It takes 360 minutes, so you're looking at, it's about a 4-hour game, so that sounds like it's on a par with the original Axis and Allies. It's good for ages 12 and up. I will say, when I was a kid, I think we were like 13, 14 when my buddies and we started playing this game, and we didn't have any problems with it. The complexity rating is a 3.59. Again, I think that's more of getting over the learning hump of how to play the game, but once you get it, the gameplay itself is not complicated. So, all right. Okay, and the last game that I have is Betrayal at Baldur's Gate. This is on sale for a smashing 40% off. You can get it for $33.60 right now. It's normally about $56. So this is like an offshoot of another game called Betrayal at House on the Hill. So this is a cooperative game where you're going to be working with the other players, and you're basically going to be your game setting is Baldur's Gate, which if you're unfamiliar, that's a town within the Forgotten Realms setting for Dungeons and Dragons. And some of you may be familiar with Baldur's Gate because there's the series of video games with the Baldur's Gate 3 just being out, which is a smash hit. So this is a board game, give you a different way of experience Baldur's Gate. So with this setting, you're going to be moving around the city and exploring different areas and trying to gather resources. And at some point, one of the players actually becomes a traitor in your party and then starts to work against you. So the other thing is this game will have 50 different scenarios. So the scenarios will kind of tell you what it is you're looking for, what it is you're working to accomplish as a party. But each of those scenarios will have some sort of timing mechanic or like a trigger that's going to make one of the players flip and become the traitor who then fights against you all. So I haven't played this. I have played Betrayal at House on the Hill a couple times with my family, and we really like that. So if it plays the same, it's a lot of fun because when the traitor part comes up in the game, the traitor goes off into a different room and reads what they're trying to accomplish out of the scenario book. And meanwhile, the rest of the players stay in the game room and they read out of the scenario book what they now need to accomplish since the traitor's been revealed. And then everyone gets back together and resolve the second half of the game with everyone kind of having new goals and what they need to do to win. So this is a really cool mechanic, and at 40% off, that's a fantastic price. So let's go over and check it out on Board Game Geek. It got a 7.1 game rating, so still a pretty solid score, but starting to get a little bit low. I think, again, you're looking at 40% off. It's probably worth adding to your collection. If you don't like it, you have half a chance of being able to flip it around and resell it for maybe more anyhow. So it's a game you need 3 to 6 players. It's going to take about an hour to play. It's good for ages 12 and up. And the complexity rating is right in the medium range at a 2.57. Okay. So that's all the games that I have for you. Hopefully you found something on this list that you've been looking to get, and now you can get it for a good price. There's quite a few of them that I'd like to have myself. So I'll be taking another look. The other thing I'll point out, if you didn't notice in the slide, there were a couple games that have limited quantities. Let me flip back here real quick. So like Betrayal Baldur's Gate, when I took the screenshot, it was about an hour or so ago, 72% of these have been claimed. So any of those games, I recommend, if you're interested, don't wait. Head on over to Amazon and purchase the game or games that you want to get. So before I wrap up, just want to remind you, I will put links to the Amazon page for each of these games in the description below. And I'll also have the BoardGameGeek.com webpage link for each of those games right with it so that you can reference all of that and get a little better feel for these games. Again, Board Game Geek will have lots and lots of pictures of most of these games. So if you want to know what they kind of look like, definitely head over there to get a feel for the game. All right, so that's all I have for you. Just wanted to get out a quick video. Time seems to be of the essence. I couldn't find anything on this page that said when these sales end. So in addition to those that have limited quantity, unless you find information about when the sale ends, I wouldn't wait if it's a game that you want. So having said that, I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope maybe you find something that you've been waiting to get. And with that, you guys have a great day and enjoy your gaming. See ya.